Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Building My Dream Garage Part 2. This is the Shmuseum. We are making some immense progress. It's a building that was a milking parlour on a farm. There was nothing in here, no concrete floor, certainly no cars, and of course no construction. We're building the Grandstand behind me, and it's amazing to see how quickly this is taking shape. But today, in addition to everything we've talked about so far, I want to touch on something very close to my heart, which is garage memorabilia. What is a garage without some pretty cool stuff to show? And in fact, today we've got two sets of things, maybe even three, to roll on to, because number one, we're going to be heading to collect my Formula One show car. It's been gone for nearly a year, but it's now completed, fully restored and ready to return. Number two, we've got a lot of space back here at the end of the garage. We have the museum side, we have the storage side, then we've got this wall, and I've got a lot of ideas for this. But one thing is to fill it with a certain type of memorabilia that's going to be arriving later on. You're going to see exactly what I mean, but this is going to be really, really epic. If you've been following my videos to date, you'll have a little bit of an idea of what I mean on that front. But you'll also spot, we have a couple of arcade machines. We have the Sega Rally, twin arcade over that away. Under the lift over here, we have the F355 Challenge, which we hadn't yet been able to turn on because we were missing the connecting computer part between the two. And at some point, we need to test that out. Arcade machines are a pretty important part, I would say, of a garage, but let's head to have a quick update with what's happened over here so far. You might notice we have a whole lot of stuff over this away, and I've only been out for like a day or two, but the number of things that have changed, we now have a ton of plasterboard, which Martin will of course be using for what's going on upstairs. We've actually got a skip arriving later on to take away some of the offcuts and rubbish that we've been accumulating, which is a part of this that I had never really thought about, but you have to order the right skip. Up here though, this is all new. The bulkhead has gone in almost overnight. Of course, it's being all supported at the moment by these diagonals. These aren't going to be here permanently, they will be taken out, and obviously what's going on here as well. But this is going to give it that grandstand vibe, exactly as we have just here underneath the railings, which I think is going to wrap off this area really quite well. You can see how we've got these three different rooms. This is going to be my office right in the middle with that view, and it's epic, and we're going to be seeing more of that build later today because Martin will be in, Martin Webbo and the Novus team. I just can't believe how quickly this is coming along. But to go and get the F1 car, of course we need the help of Tony. Mr. Turbo Transport is here. He's actually out at the moment, having taken the green Ferrari 812 over to Ferrari for a service ahead of Gumball. And then we're going to try and do something quite fun with this. Let's see if it pulls off. In our storage room over there, I have been accumulating so much memorabilia you would not believe it. The Jag now has a new look, having been out at Petrol Hedonism Underground, where it received the new Gumball 3000 livery for this year. But back here, I want to come and show you this. The F355 Challenge twin arcade with the CRTs nonetheless, but around the back, if we come through, this is what we needed. The equipment effectively to link them together. We do need to go and find a kettle lead to plug it in, but we're going to see if this works. It hasn't been turned on for many years, but if it does, it's going to be absolutely epic. Who doesn't remember these from the 90s? That was my life as a child. This game, that game, and a couple of others. But otherwise, a few cars need some cleaning and some runs out and some things to be done. We've got all the covers over there that we've been using as dust sheets while we've been doing the dustier parts of the build. You'll notice more plasterboard up here as well that has been finished off. We're going to be learning more about those processes as well, but there's clearly a lot still to come. It's just going to be mega when all of this is done. Weapon of choice for today. We're taking the Ferrari. We're actually taking two cars, and there's method to this madness. Once Tony has returned, he's going to uncouple his trailer. It's a beautifully sunny day outside, and we've been thinking about this for a while. Picture the scene: completed F1 car or F1 show car on open trailer on the motorway. We need to see that from the outside, so we're taking two cars over to Dub. We will take the GTC4 Lusso. Let me come through that lovely Ferrari ping. We are actually having a oh, it's connected properly. I was going to say, we use the C-Tech smart chargers, which obviously have these quick attachments or clamps or whichever it might be. But on here, there's a little issue on the Ferrari side, but it was connected correctly, which is a good thing. So I can hop in and in theory, get this started, make sure the door can open under our auto stackers. Right, have a listen. Oh yeah, sounds good. Let me way to GT Towing, which means firstly, open stretch. Epic. Now the reason we're going to GT Towing where we've been before is to pick up a trailer. We're picking up the open trailer, but I should point out that we're in the GTC for Lusso, which definitely does not have a tow bar. Thankfully, however, we have, bang on cue, I could not have timed that better, Mr. Turbo Transport with the Ram. We are taking both cars over so that we can get a view of what this looks like from the road. So yes, we're using a Ferrari as a camera car for today. It will be the photo machine to film and see the F1, which is just going to be mega, because obviously I haven't seen it for a while. Dub Customs have been working on it for a fair bit to get the livery absolutely perfect. I'm going to talk more about this when we get there. The number of things that have needed us to do a ton of research in terms of finding the right logos, the positioning, the sizing, etc., to obviously give it this throwback to the original Rothmans livery of 1997 on the Williams that won the World Championship that year, the last time Williams won with Jacques Villeneuve. Anyways, we haven't got too far to go to GT Towing, thankfully, from here, so we will get there, we will get a trailer, and then we will head onwards. Over the years, I've actually been here to the guys at GT Towing quite a few times. We did a few runs with the E500 and the Clio rebuild. I actually came here many years ago to collect some straps and things to put a Christmas tree on the roof of my Vantage GT8. That feels like a long old time ago now, but these days we tend to rent some trailers from the guys. They are super helpful, have all sorts of different sizes and everything available, so we kind of measured out the F1 and worked out what we would need today, and hopefully we're going to be able to turn in here, because there is definitely a truck coming out, and it's a really busy road. He's going that way. Okay, let me see what I can do, and we will head in and go find what we can find and take it from there. As if by magic, the guys have immediately brought this up. We have the open trailer. Obviously, this is for kind of wow factor. It's the ultimate garage memorabilia thing. Having a single seat open race car, especially something connected to the Formula One world, is just up there, icing on the cake, like dream thing. I never thought that could end up happening. And obviously we're going to be bringing it back with this later in the sunshine today. I can't wait for this. It's going to be unreal. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So all thanks to these guys, GT Towing, who have hooked us up with this today. Yeah, literally hooked it up. Hooked it up fully with Tony over here, ready for us to head over to Dub Customs. It is time to move. So I'm going to get out of the way and reverse backwards for a moment. If I reverse backwards, then Tony should have the swing to get out. Oh, I have a van behind me. Here we go. It's all happening at once. God, this is blowing boiling hot air at us. We managed to turn this up to some crazy hot mode or something. It's always a hot mode when you're in a Ferrari. Tish. And it's hot when there's a fire engine. Hopefully that's not a disaster. Right, out we go. Enough of the bad jokes. Onwards, 45 minutes or so from here. Oh gosh, and an ambulance. Oi, 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 that's never good. That's never good. Let's head, on the road. We have arrived then. Lusso Park just there. Tony's pulling in. Brad is finding new methods of transport, as you do. Right, we're gonna head inside and go and take a look then. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Well, we have been adding the finishing touches. We have pulled the car outside, so I think for the first time we can have a bit of a reveal of the F1 Showcar now in the completed livery. The guys have been working so hard at this because every single part, logo, graphic needs to be the period correct one, needs to be the right size. We've got a few other factors we have to work around, and something you might not really have considered from this era is that in every race there are always small changes from one car to the next. The way the stickers are applied, the exact positioning, the exact sizing, but obviously trying to get all the right sponsors and logos and graphics and everything on it. For example, even in the wheels, we've got the yellow, the OZ Racing graphics. We've obviously got all the Rothmans text, all the gold, all the red, all the stripes, all the details. Villeneuve, Renault, of course, from back at the time. These graphics to get these right with the racing text. There's so much more into this than you could possibly imagine. But our next challenge, to get this back home, literally the coolest thing a garage like mine could ever have, is to probably take off the nose cone to get it on here. Then we're going to put the nose cone back on because it will look cooler on the road. And that's what this is all about. So let's detach this, let's roll it up, strap it down, and get ready to take it home. Right, all 4 bolts removed, ready to take the nose cone off. Formula One pit crew right here. carefully does it. Of course, it's a Showcar, so it's not the full type of mechanism. Obviously, this went to TDF for the full restoration of all of the different parts, control arms and things, and hooking up the steering column, because previously it was a sim, it was a racing sim, so it didn't have wheels that you could turn from the steering wheel. But now we can at least get it up over the ramps, in theory. Still very low, but the bottom has had better days. In fact, this is all actually wrapped, by the way, and it looks completely perfect. All of that vinyl carbon fibre to match the real carbon fibre that you have back here, because that was previously painted. So should we move it forwards, see what we can do, see if we can get this up? We're gonna have to manually winch it. What's the plan? Push from back here. Many hands make light work. This hasn't scraped, it's actually gone up. That's amazing. And back to flat with the nose cone being refitted, ready to look the part in transport. While it's all being tightened down, I'm popping off the quick release steering wheel, if I can. There we go. Because I'm gonna imagine we're going down the road and I'm sitting inside this thing, which would be kind of crazy, and I don't recommend that. Right. Can you imagine being on the motorway here? Picturing the scene, making car noises. Oh, that would be fun. Probably not very legal, but fun. You could hide, nobody would know you were in it. Before we go and jump in the Lusso, I just want to see this on the move. Tony is pulling the open wheeler. Looks good, Tone. Look at that, we're gonna go see that. On the motorway, back towards the Shmuseum. Okay, that's unreal. That's absolutely unreal. Right, let us go and jump in here and make our way onwards. Get the boot closed down first, because we don't want to leave that up. And let's go. Cold start, I guess. Not quite. Still sounds nice. You will never believe what I've just seen. Like, I don't know how this is possible, but on the trailer in front of us is a Formula One car. Formula One show car. Look at that. Just people's necks must literally be breaking as they see that on the road. It makes no sense. This is genuinely hilarious right now. We've done some funny stuff over the years. Look at that, it looks wrong. Obviously it's aerodynamic, you know, it's suited for the purpose. This just feels completely wrong. I don't really get it, but dear old Tony pulling that. Look at it. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're gonna have a slow and steady, easy journey back. We actually need some fuel urgently, because this is completely out. But yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. This is what's so funny. That BMW, they're taking photos out the window. Pretty much any car that goes past and sees that is snapping a picture of it. Understandably so, right? Because you don't see that. You never see that. Literally, they're even, I don't know, I think they're even talking. Okay, they've gone now. They've moved onwards. Like, every car, it's just causing people's necks to completely break. I'm watching them as they go past, watching every single person that goes past. Look, he's staring as well. He was smiling, staring. Just like, what am I driving past? How often do you have that view on the road? I know there are people in some countries who have driven single-seat race cars out on the public highway, but this is not a normal thing. Genuinely. And this is only the first part of today, because what we're actually heading home for is going to be equally epic in the garage. But bringing that back, it's been away for so long, for the whole works and everything, and we've been pretty disorganized in terms of getting it done. But this is just funny. Yeah, I'd have loved to have been slightly more on it. You know, we sent it off initially to get it stripped down and stuff back in, it was about May last year. So it's been literally about a year since we dropped it off to get everything fully done, fully worked on, find some parts. And yeah, there are some things that aren't perfect and some things that are missing. just look at this. So funny, it's bouncing around a lot because it's a show car. It's not the full kind of full F1 spec, but hey, I'm not complaining. The funny thing here is we have a tunnel. Could you imagine if that thing had a V10 and was on the ground and floored it about now? That would be like the best thing your ears could ever hear in your life. That through a tunnel like this. I tell you what's interesting though, is the tarmac here is probably even too bumpy for a car like that, even though obviously in here it's like super smooth and silky smooth. But in one of those, which is made for F1 tarmac, you need the smoothest of smooth stuff. I'm just kind of picturing it in my head, screaming away. Anyway, the guys for the next thing today are actually at the barn already, so we're going to be meeting up with them in a moment. We're rolling back onto the M25 because we just had a bit of a disaster, or near disaster, I should say. Thankfully, all is well, but you might be wondering why we have a mirror here. And that needs explaining. It was wobbling, we were watching it wobbling, and then Tony came over and told us, there's a problem, I think we've lost the mirror. So we let him go back past because he was behind us at the time, and we saw it sitting on the very back of the flatbed. It was like under the diffuser at the back. And needless to say, that prompted a very quick dash for somewhere where we could safely pull over before Brad hopped out, ran up to it, grabbed this, grabbed the arm, grabbed all of the parts, which thankfully none of which had got lost. I have no idea how we've managed that. It could have been disastrous, but we decided we would kind of save the day rather than video it. So unfortunately there's no video of this, but the day was saved. All is well. It's been a racing incident, but it's all fine. It's all completely fine as we now pull this in, ready to get it unloaded. We made it back. We made it back. It's here. It's here in its finished look in the Shmuseum. Making use here of the race ramps as well. And this seems easy enough. And I'm doing lots of hard work with you guys. Thank you. Are we going to be good at the front? It's going to be low, but hopefully it makes it. Nice. Very nice. Oh, now we've got a bit of scrapage. Do you know what we do? We lower the trailer, raise the trailer. If you raise the trailer, the back of it goes lower. Yes. Raise the front of the trailer, the back will come lower and it won't be touching. Check this out. I feel smart. I feel very smart. Nicely done, guys. Nicely done. Look at that. Look at that. Garage memorabilia to the max. Where are you going? Stop! Oh, so cool. And matching with the banner up there. Look at this. That is what we were going for. A quick update. We have moved the F355 Challenge out from under the last lift because we are now going to be moving the TBRs, Tom and Brad are doing right now, away and over there so we can use this space for some other things which are outside in a truck right now. It's all kind of happening at once. We tried to move it with some dollies, but the car was a little bit low to fit the dollies underneath it. Of course, BenPack provided us with those very kindly. Still can't get over this thing. They're doing a nice job. We don't want to hit Brad's Mazda, so we need to go, oh, steady, 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 guys. That's pretty close. We need to go and do some shuffling. I mean, yeah. Okay, got to turn it all the way around. I'm going to join you. Let me put the camera down. A lot of tidying later. Come and take a look at what's forming here. Early stages. Now, you'll know if you've seen any of my videos, for example, a collection I visited out in California, that I'm a big fan of special memorabilia, and you can't really get more special than the original old school gas pumps. Now, a friend of mine has purchased a number of these from Carrosserie Bauer, who have kindly brought them here, and we're going to be creating a bit of a display. This is just the start. We've cleared this wall for a reason. Stay tuned to see, because I'm always fascinated by cool memorabilia. It's the history, the story of automotive, and these things have become so special. When you set them up fully, put the lights on top, they transform a location. And we were always going to have this end wall, this almost, if you say, dead space perhaps between the storage and between the museum. So I've been thinking what to do with it. And this was like 2 + 2 = 4. It's just, that's what we've got to do. Let's make it happen. So they're kindly unloading at the moment. Big truck outside to bring a number of those in. And we're going to have those, plus the F1 Showcar returning today, plus the arcades, plus a whole load of stuff we need to move around, all happening at the same time. It's chaotic, but it's a good kind of chaos. Well, jump ahead and take a look at what we've got here. A number of different pieces. In fact, a bit of a timeline from the early 1900s. That's from 1908. That's from 1921. Some that haven't been restored. Some that are, of course, much more modern through the 1950s. I think we even go up to the 60s. Of course, gas pumps. We've actually got an oil can shelf piece just there as well. Of course, they'll all have the glass bulbs up on the top of them. We've got pumps, we've got all sorts being unloaded. This is exactly the kind of thing that I'm absolutely fascinated by. We're just unloading, working it all out, placing things in different positions that might have to change a little bit down the line. Things like this, completely unrestored original, actually open up once they've been connected and are put up in position. So that needs to be worked out as well. But this is really going to look amazing along this back wall. As you can see, the bulbs and various pieces, of course, all need to be treated very, very, very delicately. While there is some huge progress to go and take a look at over there, you might have noticed a very bright orange car had been missing recently, and it now returns with some differences, which I need to explain. You will spot a new wing, new skirts, new front splitter as well. We're going to take a look around this and explain what has been changed and what's happening next with it. So, you know Final. Final being the last Lotus Elise Cup 250 Final Edition with the perfectly matched number plate belonging to a friend of mine. I collected this car. It's driven over 11,000 miles. It matches first, which was his first ever car, the Elise Sport 190 with the carbon body that you have up there at the other end. This has been a bit of it's a pretty crazy thing. 14-layer RAL 2005 luminous orange paintwork on the Elise Final Edition. It's done so many miles with various different people that have done loads of different road trips with it. It wears an extraordinarily rare, awesome, suitable license plate, number plate, but it now has some differences. As you can see, we have the carbon fiber splitter around the front. The wraps all the way around. I love the contrast against the orange. Same with the skirts around the side and a massive wing at the back. Now, the car didn't exactly have a small wing on it before, but there's a bit of a story behind this. It's actually the carbon fiber kit for the Lotus Elise Cup 260 that was made a few years ago. I think they only sold about 3 of them in total. It was very, very expensive, but they managed to have a couple of these either still left or have managed to make another set effectively for the owner of this car because he wanted to make it even crazier. This is what happens when your imagination runs wild with a Lotus Elise. You end up with this crazy, crazy thing. And it's actually about to be departing as well. He's off with this car for a very long drive around Europe for a couple of months. It's going to do even more miles just being enjoyed and driven. And I think that needs to be celebrated. That's one of the things, right? If you're going to have one of the last most special cars. So while we're gaining a whole wall display over there of wonderful history, we are going to be saying farewell to this car today. Not entirely sure what the future has in store for it exactly, but yeah, kind of cool, hey? Kind of cool. I actually like this a lot because it was almost too much orange for me down here. This contrast has added a lot. Probably a wing quite this big on a car this small is at the overkill end of the spectrum, but I like it. I like the contrast. I like how it looks overall. I really like the splitter and the skirts. I think they look very, very nice. So I guess we're going to be saying farewell to it for now and then going to see what's happening over there behind us. Time to say farewell then. Off heads. Final. Final is departing. It is a fun thing. So bright, so phenomenally bright. In fact, let me whiz past just to catch it as it emerges into daylight. A dip under the shutter. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh my gosh, I am blinded. I'm blinded by a Lotus. We've set up a display. Have a look at this. What a day for garage memorabilia. F1 show car, simulator, and this display at the back. We need to come and have a better look at this because honestly, this is genuinely crazy what we've got going on here at the moment. Like there's something so infinitely cool about these. You probably know my friend Zach's Garage, who has a bunch of these kind of things in his setup. This is from 1900. Think about that, it's 123 years old. We've got the pumps from 1908, the pump from 1921. This is probably the most special of all of the pumps here. Original glass, the original bulbs and covers up top. You have to be so delicate and careful with these. I don't even know how this works. I don't know what you do or choose how many litres you're getting or whatever it is. Obviously the different companies, we've got Shell, we've got BP, we've got Mobil, we've got Gulf, Texaco, Esso, Aral, everything that you know obviously from the modern era, and you come through towards 1930s, 1940s. I quite like this. I quite like this, how this works. Bit of a storage cupboard. Probably should put that into operation. Just got to be super delicate and careful because things like this are all obviously quite valuable, quite delicate, quite special. All of them, apart from, I think the Esso one, can be plugged in and illuminated. They've all been tested, but we don't have them plugged in because we don't have enough sockets for them all back here at the moment. But obviously coming all the way through down here to the 1960s with the latest Aral pump. It's absolutely mind-blowing. This is genuinely like, wow, like properly wow for this end of the garage. I said we had some cool plans. No more words. And this is before we try and get this up and running. This is something I would like to undertake. It's probably a bit more complicated than I expect, and it's already quite far into the evening, so I don't really want to get started on it now in case we end up blowing something up and need to fix it. It's not been turned on for many years. There's all of the connections to work out and plugging it in, and inevitably some kind of software thing we need to try and get our heads around to properly get that up and running. And of course, we have this back. I mean, just look at it. I never thought I might one day have something like this in the garage. It's done, it's completed. All of those visits to TDF, all of that, trying to work out what it actually was at the beginning when it came out of the Michelin Transporter, all the way through to now, the Rothmans livery FW19 here at the garage. Like, in terms of memorabilia, there's a lot of cool stuff we're going to go through in my storeroom. Like a lot of cool stuff that I've accumulated myself over the years, connecting to my various cars and different events and things I've been on. But that's like the three ultimate things. Like a race car, an awesome arcade machine, and the gas pumps. You can't, like, if I was drawing out what my dream would be for a garage, in terms of the display, apart from the cars, it's that. Wow, and this is obviously the start. I think next time around, I guess we're going to be progressing with the build of the Grandstand. I've still not revealed all the full details and stories of what we're doing with the various spaces over at this end. There's a lot more stud work to be done, a lot of the plasterboard, of course, to start sealing it up before it's all going to be painted, get lots of nice windows, and get lots of other small details and tidbits. For today, I just want to sit here and stare and think about it all. This is so cool. So a big thanks to the team from Carrosseria Bauer for coming along today to install and set up all of those. That was a lot of work. And with some of our plans, we're going to have to shuffle them all slightly, and that's going to be a lot of work as well. But we'll figure a way. Thank you as always to you guys. I hope you're enjoying learning more about the Shmuseum and the plans ahead. This place is going to be so epic in just a couple of months' time. Loads more episodes to come as we go through the build of the whole floor space, the grandstand area, the workshop area, the painting we're going to be doing, all of the different display things as well. I can't wait to share it all with you. That's it for now. End of part 2. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.